Hey guys, it's me, Persephone. Welcome to my channel. I don't post long forms, so yeah, welcome to my channel. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of the Disney movie Hercules. Not mythology accurate at all, but I'm sure we've all seen it. Now, I may not have known that they actually planned a sequel back then. I think it was about like the Odyssey, which doesn't make sense because of the timeline of mythology. Anyway, that did not happen, but you know what did happen? The animated series of Hercules. So that's what we're talking about today. So, before we go into this, number one, I'm mostly not going to be discussing the movie. If you want a video about the movie, go watch the Mythology Guy's video on it. He does a really good job with that. Number two, I did not watch all the episodes. I did not watch all the episodes. So, I'm just going to go into some of the episodes and the main premise. I'll also probably be filming this video across multiple days because if I watch all these episodes at once, I might go insane. So, let's get into it. So, Google says that it is a prequel to the movie. So, this makes the whole timeline make even less sense. So, you'll see that later. So, this came out in 1998. There is only one season, but there is 65 episodes. That is why I will not be watching all of them. Like I said, I will probably go insane if I watch all of them. The premise of this is that Hercules is in high school, which, as you can already tell, doesn't make sense, especially since the gods are all interacting with him, even though in the movie, the first time he ever interacted with Zeus was like, once he left and he's like, I'm on the go the distance song.
I will find my way. I can go the distance. I'll be there someday.
Yeah. So, yeah. But Hades is still the villain in this because it's Disney. I don't know what we expected from Disney. Not accurate. But yeah. Okay, let's just go straight into episode 1.
Can be strong, I know every mile.
So, in episode 1, everyone's kind of working like in a job. So like it starts off with like their teacher being like, "All right, everyone, you're going to be working a job at the Agora." So, yeah, I guess that's like the premise of the first episode. So, Hercules is obviously the main character, but there's two other main characters. Icarus and Cassandra. You already see how this is not mythology accurate because they never interact in actual mythology. So Icarus is like that nerdy guy, but he's also like a freak, like really weird. Anyway, and then Cassandra is weirdly Wednesday coded. I don't know why. It's like she speaks in like that monotone Wednesday voice.
A classic example of female objectification for the male gaze.
This isn't some new kind of vision. I don't need another curse.
So I don't know what timeline we're in, but yeah. Adonis is also pretty prevalent in this episode. So in this, he's like that kind of like entitled popular boy because like high school. So I guess that's what his character is supposed to be. And the weirdest part is I was watching the episode and then like less than 10 minutes in, he called Hercules a good boy. This came out in 1998. We got ancient Greek figures calling people good boys. Yeah. Another thing about the show is that the coloring actually sucks. Like, I do not know anything about animation. I am not one to talk about animation. But the coloring is just so different from the actual movie, and it's just not good. Like, Zeus is like this bright orange red color. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Yeah. So in this episode, Hercules gets a job for some reason, and then so he like quit his pretend job, and then so Zeus shows up and's like, "Oh, you can drive the sun chariot. That can be your job." Only good. I hate the Apollo design in this. I hate all the god designs in this. They're so stupid. Like, if you look at the difference between Apollo in this and Apollo in like Epic the Musical, we got the like really weird design. And then we got Hear Me Out level design. I mean, at least Apollo in this is voiced by Keith David, like, only good thing, because, like, Keith David's iconic. But yeah, so he drives the sun chariot, and like I said, Hades is still the villain in this. So pain and panic like derail it because they do. So and then they bring it to the underworld for some reason. I don't know why. That's just weird. But then all the mortals go crazy. That kind of happens, and then so like the gods are like, oh, where'd the sun go? The gods start also freaking out, but, like not as much as the mortals, but like I don't know. They get the sun back. Yeah. So it was taken to their underworld. So like Hades town reference, possibly. I know it's not, but worth a try. Worth something to make this video more positive. I don't like this show. I didn't even watch all the episodes. I watched like 8 episodes so far from when I'm recording this, and I already hate it. Okay, well, they got the sun back. Yeah, I'm not going more into this episode. Okay, episode 2. Um, so this one's like about Thessaly and like the king of Thessaly. I'm gonna be honest, I do not know about King of Thessaly. I think it's. I gotta check my notes. I'm sorry. Salmoneus. I don't know. The only really thing I know about it is from Hades 2. When you go to the Rift of Thessaly, that's like it. Okay, so the king. Yo, okay. Also, oh, so they did Cassandra so dirty throughout this entire series. So like I said, she's like very Wednesday coded in this. Like Wednesday's great, except for season 2. Season 2 sucked. But like, yeah, Wednesday's iconic too. But I love Cassandra. She's like my favorite mythological figure. And I just don't like this version. I mean, it's Hercules and Disney, so I don't know what I expected. Also, I might go back and forth between saying Heracles and Hercules just because I'm used to saying Heracles. But we'll see what happens. So the episode starts out. There's like a Zeus impersonator, and then so actual Zeus shows up and smites the impersonator, who was Salmoneus, like the king, because the impersonator was like, "Oh, you gotta pledge your allegiance to me or whatever," that kind of thing. And then so all the people in the town were like, "Oh, Heracles is the son of Zeus. He can be the next king." Which, if we're gonna go into actual mythology, not accurate at all, because like Zeus fucked like half of the population of Greece. So like, there's a lot of children of Zeus in actual mythology. So yeah. What else happened this episode? Okay, another thing that happened that's also inaccurate. So like, there's like a small portion where the king goes to the underworld, and it says he goes to the Groves of Despair, which is not an actual place in the underworld. I'm like, not 100%. If I say 100%, then there's definitely going to be someone who's like, actually, yeah, 99.9% sure that is not an actual place in the underworld. I swear that's not. Okay, I don't really care about the rest of the episode. Next one. Like I said, I do not like the series. Okay, episode 3. This one starts with talking about how Athena and Ares don't like each other and like the rivalry between Sparta and Athens. And so the muses start singing again. Oh, the muses. They start singing like at least every other episode. They start singing. Like it makes sense. So like there's a lot of reoccurring characters. Like the muses are in it, the fates are in it, obviously the main characters. Minor thing about when they started singing. So they were singing and they're like Ares and Athena have hated each other forever, ever since they were like young children. And then so like actually I hate to do this, but it's so fun to say actually. So Athena wasn't actually like a child. I mean she was a child, but like she was. It just wasn't really prevalent in mythology. Because when she was born, she just kind of sprang out of Zeus's head fully clothed in armor and like older and not a child. So minor thing, but yeah. So then it goes to Hephaestus and Ares talking, and it's Disney, so they're not going to hate each other because we all know in actual mythology, Ares was cheating. Aphrodite was cheating on Hephaestus with Ares, so they don't. I don't think they like each other in actual mythology. That's just my opinion, though. So Hephaestus makes Ares a bow and arrow. It's very obvious what's wrong with that. Bow and arrows are Apollo and Artemis's thing, not Ares. Ares, I think, is usually depicted with a sword. So it wasn't that hard to make him a sword, but I don't know. I'm not in charge of this. Hey, if you put me in charge of a mythology show, I know I will make it accurate. Okay, so then later, Hercules. So later in the episode, Hercules, Cassandra, Icarus are going to the movies because high school setting. So then Athena shows up, like in Hades, when you get a boon from one of the gods, but like less cool. So Athena shows up, and then she's like, Hercules, you gotta go on a quest, a mission thing, or whatever, and get the bow and arrow that Ares has. So they get it back. Again, like there's 65 fucking episodes in this. I am not watching every single one of these. So I'm kind of just speed running this. So I'll also be skipping around. So like we're skipping episode 4 and we're going to episode 5. So in this episode, Hades is trying to get the Fates to tell him the future. Like I think he did that in the movie. I haven't seen the movie in a while. So they don't, but then he goes through this like thing, and it's like people who are prophets. So like it mentions Tiresias, but then since Cassandra's in this, they're like, yeah, Cassandra will be the one. So he goes to try and find Cassandra, but then cut to Cassandra. She had a vision of her smooching Icarus, and so she freaks out, and like understandable, because oh my god, Icarus is so ugly in this. He's so chopped. I don't know what this is. But also, like I said, I hate the designs and like of like all the characters. Except for Meg. Meg's hot. Okay, yeah, so she gets Heracles to go, she goes talks to Heracles about like, oh, will you help me avoid this happening? Which I mean it's going to happen because she's a prophet, so like kind of just how it works. Also, when she has her visions, her eyes go like green and swirly, and it's just weird. Like, ooh, I don't know. I don't like it. Um, so Hercules goes to Icarus's house, and it's kind of like that one scene in the Lorax. I'll just put it up there. It's not actually like that, but I just think it's funny how it's kind of similar to that. Okay, so he goes. So Hercules goes to Icarus's house, and then tries to friend zone Icarus for Cassandra. So it's like, yeah, obviously it doesn't work. So then Cassandra sells her soul to Hades, and then she's like, because like just because she doesn't have to kiss Icarus, and like I said, I understand because he's so chopped. But then she had this whole thing of like, oh well, you got to wait for him to not kiss me, and then you'll actually have my soul, whatever. Okay, so Hercules comes back to Cassandra, like, okay, that didn't work. And then, so he just goes to Aphrodite's temple. And then he's like, so Aphrodite shows up and then gives him the like arrows, the love arrows, which is weird because Eros is supposed to have them, not Aphrodite, but it's fine. Okay, so then, and then she's like, okay, go shoot Cassandra with the love arrow, which originally it's like he was going to like help her not try to separate them, but then he switched because he's like, oh well, I guess Icarus just really wants to date you, so then he's just switched to like setting them up. I don't really know what's going on. So then he goes back to her house, and then you see her parents there, and her parents are supposed to be Priam and Hecuba, but they're not. They're just these random people. It literally says like these random names like Frank or something. Like, no, it's supposed to be Priam and Hecuba, but whatever. I'm just gonna keep saying whatever to all the inaccuracies. You're gonna have to deal with it. So she gets hit with like the arrow, and then she starts like obsessing over Icarus, like really badly. So then back to like the thing, since Hades was like, okay, I will prevent that from happening. So now Pain and Panic went to go like stop Icarus from meeting her because they're going to this like party thing. I don't really know. I forgot what it was called, but it had like a mythological name. And then so they try to get her away. Also, they keep saying like this entire fucking episode. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this episode. They keep saying osculation, and I don't know what that means, and I don't want to Google it since it's also a kid show. But just because it's a kid show doesn't mean it's going to be appropriate. So I don't know. Whatever. So Pain and Panic, their mission failed to get Icarus away from her. So then there's Cassandra, Icarus, Hercules. They're all in like the same area. And then Cassandra starts being like really seductive towards Icarus, which I think is fucking weird. Like, you said high school setting. Like, what are you doing here? Okay, so then the arrow wears off. So then she's like, ooh, disgusted by him again because she hates him. I mean, not hates him, they're like friends, but like, you get what I mean. But then Icarus like keeps running after her, trying to kiss her. So like that's like attempted sexual assault, in my opinion. I don't know what counts as that. Look, don't judge me, okay? But like, even if it's not like that's not a good thing. So Hades shows up again. Same with Pain and Panic, and then they put Icarus in like this eternal sleep thing, and you can probably see where this is going. So Aphrodite shows up again, and then she's like, "Oh my God, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Okay, so you gotta, so with the eternal sleep, you can, true love's kiss will wake him up." So then Cassandra kisses him. So I guess. Also in this episode, it said Aphrodite and Hephaestus are engaged. I know that Disney wouldn't make it, so anyone's cheating. They literally changed the movie so that Zeus didn't cheat on Hera, but like, any mythology fan knows what happens. Okay, episode 5. Wait. That was episode 5. I don't know. I lost track of what episode I'm on. Okay, this is an episode with Achilles in it, but he's like older, so he should be dead. Because in the episode, they say he was shot in the heel, so he should be dead. I don't know what fucking timeline this is, because they just mash up every single myth that they could find and change everything about it. So it's, yeah. So then, and then there's also no Patroclus, and I know Patroclus wasn't gonna be in there because it's Disney and they're fucking homophobic, but we need the gays. Come on, guys. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, he's older. So then Hades shows up and is like, "Oh, I'll turn you back into your Trojan War self. Trojan War self. Jeez, I can't talk. You'll be back in your prime, you know." So he takes the deal. Phil is still in this. Gets him like popular again, kind of like how he did with Hercules in the movie. And then they found out he's working for Hades. They got mad at him. Goes back to being older. Yeah. That was that episode. Okay, next episode. So, obviously, I'm gonna keep saying how they're in high school. So, like, Daedalus is, like, the shop teacher in this. I mean, it makes sense, but, like, yeah. And he's just weird. I don't know what it is about him. Like, it's just, like, ugh. Okay, switch to Hades and Poseidon. They're yapping. Hades is trying to get Poseidon to reroute the Styx so he can take over Greece. So he's trying to get Poseidon to like move the Styx around Greece so he can take it over. Also, most of this takes place in like Athens and Sparta for some reason. I don't know why. It's probably just easy because like popular locations. But come on, you could have put different areas. Okay. So Poseidon moves the river, and then so now Greece is just like depressed, I guess. I don't know. And then so Hades so like there's the high schoolers, and then Hades is like, okay, time for eternal torment. And then so Helen shows up, and like I also don't like her portrayal. I don't know. I don't like portrayals in this. It's not accurate, and it's just not good. Yeah, he starts tormenting people, even though that's the Furies' job. But they're too lazy to put in the Furies, so yeah. So then Hercules gets the trident and then just reroutes it. And then, yeah. Well, next episode. Okay, so it's a different day. My mic died and I don't want to charge it. My iPad's at 2% and it has all my notes on it. I have given up completely on watching these episodes. So I decided I still want to do this video. So I'm going to watch 2 more episodes that I think are interesting. You know, these myths, I think they're pretty interesting. So I skipped around and I watched a Circe episode and a Trojan War episode. Okay. So, we're gonna see how this goes. Also, I need my fidget for this. So, okay, let's get into it. Alright, so I watched a Cersei episode. So basically, I guess after the episode where Cassandra kisses Icarus, they just like got together. And then so in this episode, she like breaks up with him. And then Cersei shows up, which by the way, horrible design. Horrible design. I don't know what they were doing with that, but I really don't like it. I don't like it. So Cersei shows up and she's like, oh, I'm gonna do her, like a seductive voice for this, because that's basically what they were doing. No, don't reference it. Don't reference it. Don't reference it! I'm gonna reference it. I think it's called Cersei song. Because she uses, I think in this episode, she basically uses her other ways of persuasion. And she's like, I showed up here on my Love Island. Love Island, like the TV show? Sorry, I got off track. I showed up here on my Love Island and I'm looking for a boyfriend. So, and then she starts singing like, I want a boyfriend. So I'm gonna like see who's the best. Oh, sorry. And then so like, also, Adonis, like, his skin tone, like, fully changed. I don't know what point in the series that happened, but it's different. I'll put up the images, but I think it's pretty different. I think it's pretty different. I don't think that's okay. But, this came out in 1998. I have no control over it. Okay. And then at one point during the song, she was like, maybe I'll get like 10 boyfriends. And I'm like, okay, progressive polycool. And then she's like, no, only one. And I'm, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, I would expect it from Disney, because like, let me rephrase that. I would expect Disney to put those innuendos in, because they already do. They already do in the song. Example. Like, what are we doing here? Can someone please explain? Okay, yeah, ends up with, she's like, oh, Icarus, I choose you. Pokemon, I choose you. Not like the Pokeball thing. You get what I'm saying. So then, I don't know, she takes him to her island. I feel like, I don't know what really happened, but I guess she like started to hate him, so she didn't use her other ways of persuasion on him. But then she turned him into an animal that wasn't a pig, which it should be a pig, because she turns people into pigs. It's not other animals. It's not other animals, it's pigs. It's not that hard. It's easier to animate if you just put them all as pigs. Okay, whatever. We're going to the next episode, which is the Trojan War episode. Trojan War in high school. I can't be talking. Editor me. Put up the photos. Yeah, I can't be talking about Trojan War in high school. I write fan fiction about that. Okay. Oh. I have it on here. I'll just put it up. Yeah, so I actually thought this episode could be interesting. See where they would take it, you know? Because I like Trojan War AUs in a high school setting, you know? And I was obviously let down by this, because why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't I be? Okay. So when I was watching this episode, there's like these background characters that show up. And like, I feel like I should know who they are if Disney's like, okay, these are actual people in mythology. If they are, I feel like they should know who they are. I feel like I should know who they are. But I don't know. Like, there's this one girl, is she like an Amazon? Someone from the Amazon? Don't really know. Okay. Oh, I was mad about this. It's saying that Helen and Adonis are dating in this. I'm sorry, but no. It's Helen and Menelaus. If you want to, maybe Helen X Menelaus pairs if you're feeling risky. But no, look, in actual mythology, like, yes, Adonis could pull people. He pulled, like, Aphrodite, Persephone, pretty sure Apollo, I can't exactly remember. But, like, not Helen. No, we're not doing this. It's not that hard to put Menelaus in an episode, okay? I bet he shows up at some point in the series, but then they're like, you know, Adonis is like that popular guy, so that means he's gonna date the popular girl, since that's Helen. I forgot to mention in the Cersei episode, it seems like Helen and Cassandra are friends, and I love that interpretation. So, I guess that's one good thing. But I hate Helen's design. Oh my god, what did they do to my girl? She deserves better than this. Okay. So, like I said, it shows that her... Hold on. Look, I gotta check my notes. I don't know what I was writing. Okay, so it's like prom. And so Adonis is the prom king, Helen's the prom queen, and then Hercules is like, oh, I want to be the prom king. So then they have a vote, and then Hercules is the prom king now. So now and then so Helen's like, okay, so now you're gonna go out with me now. So since you're the prom king, what are we doing here? What is Helen's relationship to people? What are we doing here? Okay. Also, apparently there's a teacher called Mr. Parentheses. I don't know why that made me mad, but it did. Now I'm mad at that. Okay, so then the Trojans show up and they vandalize a statue. Boy, is Paris's voice annoying. Oh my god, what were the voice actors doing? I know I can't really talk about voice actors' choices since they can do what they want, but still. Oh, off topic, I have a necklace for Lady Artemis. I don't really remember where it's from, but my mom had it, and I think she said that, like, one of her other relatives had it. So now I have it. It's of Lady Artemis. It's so cute. I love it. Off topic again, but I can also show you my wishbone necklace from the Conan Gray concert. It was so good. Okay, back to the episode. The voice actors, they can do what they want for their characters, but like this one's like not. Yeah, so they showed up and vandalized a statue. So then Hercules is like, you know what? We're gonna go there. We're gonna go to the Trojans' place, and we're gonna vandalize one of their statues. He's being a show-off and like, whoa, look, I can yeet the statue up, and then like, yeah. But then he drops it, because, I don't know, he's annoying. I need to say this. Okay. So, like I said, Hercules becomes like the prom king in this. Icarus got down on his knees and started worshiping him. And they also call him Ick throughout the series. And that makes sense, because he gives me the ick. He has incel behavior. Cersei literally called him a freak, okay? What are we doing here? Who wrote this character? There's so many other options. I hate this portrayal. Like, look at the portrayal in Hades 2 versus this. What are we doing here? Okay. Back to what we're actually doing. Yeah, so he accidentally drops the statue, and then so now they're just like full on fighting, and everyone's mad at each other. And then so it's like prom. And then, so the Trojans show up, because obviously they did, and they start yeeting tomatoes and stuff at everyone. Sorry. And then they took Helen, because, Trojan War. No, it's coming back. Don't reference the Iliad. That's not how the Trojan War started. It started with Aphrodite, Athena, and Hera, and then Eris threw the golden apple. I will not give my full presentation on the Trojan War. I have like a 30-slide presentation on the entire thing. I'll probably do that in a future video. But this is not the video for that. Okay, so they took Helen because this is the Trojan War. Okay, so now that Helen's gone, Hercules and Cassandra and Icarus and those other people, they meet up and they're like, okay, we need to figure out a plan on what we're gonna do. Again, my mythology nerd comes in because none of the people in that room were actually people in the Trojan War. They said that one of the characters' names was Ajax, but they didn't say which Ajax it was, lesser or greater Ajax. We don't know. We don't know. And then, of course, they pull out the Trojan horse and say Icarus and Daedalus made it. When nope, it was Brodicius's idea. Hold on, let me get Brodicius. They have offended Brodicius with this. Alright, he will sit here for this. Because in the Iliad, Brodicius is smart, you see. He's a warrior of the mind. Brodicius is the one who came up with the idea of the Trojan horse. They built it up. They sent some people off to shore, off to sail away so they can make it look like they left. They left it at the gates and said, hey, we surrender. Here's a parting gift. See, he's, like I said, he's a warrior of the mind. And that's how they got in. But nope, not in this one, because we don't have Brodicius in this one. But I'm pretty sure that when I was looking through the episodes, it said Telemachus showed up in one of these. So how is Odysseus not in this? It's not that hard. Speaking of, like, all the background characters was there. You could just make him a background character and have him suggest the idea. But no, it has to be the main three people giving out all the ideas because they're the main characters. I'm sorry, I'm so mad at this. It's just because it's a mythology show. If it was a different show, it would be different. Also, that person I thought was someone from the Amazon, they actually were. It was actually said that they were. So, I guess I was right. Okay. So, and then later, okay, I feel like I just had to say this one time. Adonis was like, let me get this straight. Buddy, I don't think you can do anything straight. I'm sorry. This is the energy he gives. That's just my opinion, though. But my opinion is right on my channel. Just kidding. Please don't cancel me. That was a joke. Please, that was a joke. Okay, got there. And then they were yapping in the Trojan horse. And then Paris was listening in, like, let's see if I can hear anyone in this. And then, even though the entire time they were yapping in there, which obviously doesn't happen. And then Paris was like, yeah, it's fine, let them in. I'm pretty sure in the Iliad, Helen was the one who listened into it. I don't know. It wasn't Paris, though. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Paris. I don't know if that's correct, but from what I remember. And then, also, really random thing. I can't tell who anyone Paris taught. I can't tell. I'll cut this part out. So Paris is yapping to a lot of people, and I can't tell who any of them are. I feel like I should know, but I can't tell who they are. So, there's that. One of them said, absolute mente. Are they trying to speak Spanish? I do not, I'm 99% sure that they didn't speak Spanish in Troy during the times of the Trojan War. I feel like Disney producers should know that. Okay. But guess what? You'll never have guessed this happened. Paris knew they were inside the Trojan horse. What? How could he have known? It's not like they were talking while he was listening in. Whoa, YouTuber thumbnail reaction face. I'm very sorry. I don't know why you guys watch my channel. Okay. Yeah, so they yeet more tomatoes at them that they just have on hand for some reason. But then Ick, I'm just gonna call him Ick because he gives me the ick. So, and then he's like, oh, but Hercules is a demigod. He's more powerful than you guys. Hate to break it to you. But, you know, A lot of people in Greek mythology are demigods.
Hercules is a demigod, but there are many demigods. Some, but not limited to Achilles, Aeneas, Bellerophon, Castor and Pollux, Minos, Orpheus, Perseus, Theseus. Also more demigods. Asclepius. Technically, some gods, like Dionysus, if they were not turned into gods, if Dionysus not his whole mom being Similar basically because Zeus is your form. If that didn't happen, he would just be a demigod. Who else we got? Hyacinthus is son of Muse. Narcissus, Orion, Pasiphae. Keep going. Telegonus, we also got him. Helen of Sparta is a demigod. Yes, Helen is a demigod and actually becomes an actual god later in mythology.
There's a lot. You see what I mean. You can see what I mean. Well, yes, you're a demigod, but you know who else is a demigod? Otis. He's a son of Poseidon. I don't know if he shows up earlier in the season, in the series, but yeah. Random thing throughout this, Helen is like really chill during this like entire episode. But you want to know what happened? I'll cut that part. So like Otis starts beating up Hercules, and then they start throwing things again. So everyone rushes into the Trojan horse, and then they like get wheeled somewhere. Like I think like Icarus is like trying to move it across to get back to safety or whatever, but then they fall off a waterfall. What the fuck is happening? Well, where, what? Who, what, when, where, why? How? I don't know what's happening. Okay. Anyway, they get back to Promethean Academy, and you know what happens? Helen shows up. You know what she reveals? She wasn't actually kidnapped. She just went there on her own free will. And then she says she's gonna date Paris. What is her relationship with everyone? I'm so done with this series. So, I'm just gonna yap, I don't have a script for this part, on like why I don't like this series. Now, normally if something is not mythology accurate, I can still enjoy it. Like Epic the Musical. I love Epic the Musical. It's like one of my favorite things ever. Like, it's obviously not mythology accurate, but I still love it. Like, everything has a great portrayal in that, along with other musicals. Like, from the snippets I've seen from Melody of War, they're going for a similar approach where Helen and Paris are actually in love with each other. Paris the Musical did the same thing. I don't know why I keep naming musicals, but I still really enjoy these things. I'm probably gonna really like Melody of War. It hasn't come out yet, but I'm really excited to it. Let me know if you want me to react to it. I probably will either way. So I still love those. Like, another thing, Percy Jackson, again, I really like that series. I don't like the TV show, but it's obviously very inaccurate. There's a lot of creative liberties taken to create like a new kind of world. So why don't I like this one? I think the main reason I don't like it is because for me, there's just an overlying theme of just it not making sense throughout it. So like, I'm gonna use Percy Jackson as an example. So Rick Riordan, he created this really nice mythology world where it's the Greek gods, and also like, I haven't read like Magnus Chase or anything, but where they're still in modern day. But he was able to still make it very cohesive and make it still make sense. So like, he gives all those answers on like, oh, how, say like Medusa is still here because like she was killed by Perseus in mythology. But then there's also, but like in like Sun and the Stars specifically, it says how in Tartarus there, and in House of Hades, in how Tartarus there's those little like regeneration things where all the monsters regenerate, and like why the big three have less children than you think they would. It's because they swore the oath. So he gives all those answers in. And so like, let me think of another good example for this. Oh, Paris the Musical. I know a lot of people don't know Paris the Musical, but I think it's a good example for this. So it's a musical from the 80s about Trojan War, and I think there are definitely parts of it I don't like. Like, one thing I don't like is how the gods aren't very prevalent in it. and how like I think that's the main thing on how the start is very different, but it still has another thing I don't like about it is that Achilles and Patroclus are just friends. Like, I know it was made in the 80s, but yeah. So the main thing I do like about it is that it can still stick to the Trojan War theme of it, but still adapt it into a way that a lot of people still like. It doesn't deviate too much from it, so you're like, what is happening now? Same thing with Epic the Musical. Now, it definitely changes a lot of it. Like, I think the main parts that are changed is he didn't stay on Cersei's island for a year. And then there's also probably a lot of minor things that I can't directly remember from when I read the Odyssey. But it's still it's just good in general. Like, all these things, this Greek mythology media that I'm naming, they're just also, like, good content. It's not like they suck. But I feel like with this series, there's already some of the inaccuracies, which I'm like, it can get annoying. But I think the main part of it is how much they've stretched this series out with 65 episodes. And also how I feel like I'm going to give you like a reenactment because I feel like this is the easiest way I can do it. Alright, so we are writing this series. So what do we think is the main overarching plot of this series? Well, I think we should just take the myths and just put Hercules in it, have Hades be the villain, call it a day. Very nice, very nice. I feel like that's how it went. I know it's probably not, but how I see this is like they take a bunch of myths or people in mythology and they're just like, so this is the little bowl of the Hercules series, and then they just take all these myths and all these characters and they're just like, mix it up and we'll see what we get. So I think that's the main thing. It's kind of just every episode is either like, oh no, Hades is trying to, I don't know, kill Hercules or something, or like, oh no, a new person showed up, what are we gonna do about them? So I feel like that's an issue I have with it. Okay, so also an issue I have with this is I feel like eventually the creators just lost the plot of this. Like, I don't know if there was one to begin with, or like an idea of how they were going to end this, because I don't really know how this was produced. But I was looking through the episodes, and it says season 1, episode 57. Aladdin's enemy, Jafar, turns up in the underworld. I feel like we've lost the plot at this point if we're just gonna bring in Aladdin and Jafar from a different movie. So I feel like that is also pretty important thing about it. But also, the main one is, I just don't really like this series. I'm sure that there's a bunch of people out there who will probably love it, and that's great. But I think the main thing is, it's just not for me. But if you like it, you do you. So what did we learn from this? Don't trust Disney to stay accurate to things. Yeah. Well, I hope you like this video. Like and subscribe if you want more content. I don't know how to end videos. Bye!